Hey, this is Mr. P, and I'm coming to you with your Algebra 1E learning lesson for Wednesday, May 20th. Okay, and we're continuing in section 12.3 with measures of central tendency, right, which are mean, median, and mode. So we're going to do some additional applications of those, and we're also going to calculate range for a set of data. So, yeah, remember the mean is the average of the values of the data set, right, where we take the sum of all the numbers and divide it by the number of values. Right, so the sum of the numbers divided by the number of terms, or number of values. Okay, remember median is the middle value when we write the numbers in order. For odd number values, there's just one middle number. For even number of values, remember we have to take the mean of the two middle numbers if there's an even number of terms. Mode, remember that's the most common value, the values that occur the most often. And I can have no mode, I can have one mode, I can have more than one mode. New term here, measure. We have measures of central tendency, right? Mean, median, mode. Measure of dispersion, okay, describes how dispersed or spread out the data is, and that measure of dispersion is called the range of the data. So basically, the range is the difference between the greatest and least data values. Basically, we're taking the biggest data value minus the smallest, and that's the range of the data set. Okay. All right, so let's start with an application. Okay, so this is an application of mean or average. So it says find x if the average of 20, 20, 19, and 13 and x is 16. So the mean or the average is 16. Okay, so I'm going to start with equals 16. What is the definition of mean? It is the sum of all the terms, adding up all the terms, divided by the number of terms. Okay, so 20 is 1, 2, 3, 4, and the x makes 5. So we have 5 total terms. So we would do 20 plus 19 plus 13 plus x. Okay, so the sum of all those terms over 5 is 16, right? Because 16 is your mean. All right, so let's simplify that a bit. So if I add these numbers together right here, I get 72. So here's what that's going to look like. Now I have 72 plus x over 5 equals 16. And what I can do is go ahead and put 16 over 1 so I create a proportion, and then I can cross multiply. Okay, and when I do so, I have 72 plus x equals 16 times 5, which is 80. Subtract 72 from both sides. Okay, so x is going to be equal to 8. Okay, so that missing value there is 8. All right, next one. And again, the situation here in the next example, it can apply, here we're applying it to golf scores, we can apply it to test scores, as far as, you can use a similar situation or similar strategy to find out like what test score you need to get a certain average. Here we're looking at what golf score we need based on our first 4 scores to attain a certain average. Okay, so what it says is that we have to score no more than 74 on average over 5 games. So once again, our number of terms is going to be 5. So on average means we're finding what? We're finding the mean, right? So actually we're not finding the mean, we know the mean. So the mean we're given is 74. That's the average score we have to have. In our first 4 games, we have 77, 71, 77 again, then 67. And in our 5th game, we need to figure out what we need in the 5th game. What's the highest score we can have to have a 74? So what we're going to do is we're going to say 71 plus 77 plus 77 plus 67 plus x, that's the fifth game that we don't know yet, over 5 equals, what's our mean that we were given? 74. So let's simplify this a bit. If I add these numbers together, I get 292 plus x over 5 equals 74. Just like I did for the one up here, I'm going to go ahead and put 74 over 1, then cross multiply. So let's go ahead and do that. So 74 times 5, and that's going to give us 370. And then we got 292 plus x. And all I have to do to solve that equation is subtract 292 from both sides. And I'm going to get a score, I'm going to need a score of 78. Okay, so 78. And we're going to look at one more example. In this example, the data is presented in a little bit different way. Okay, so in the next one, we have what we call a dot plot. Okay, so rather than just a list of numbers, we have the data in the form of dots, okay, that represent certain values. So before we even start, what I'm going to do is go ahead and write out all the values. Okay, so notice this is times per 100-meter sprint, and the dots represent, like here, they represent the number of occurrences at each value. Like there was one time of 10.1, there was 3 of 10.2, and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and write out all the values. Okay, so 10.1 we had 1, 10.2 there was 2, right? 10.3 there are 4. And 10.4 there are 5. 10.4, 10.4, 10.4, 10.4, 10.4, 10.5 had 2. 10.6 has 3. 10.7 has 1, and then we got 11. All right, so what I will say there, if we count them up, we should see that we have 20 terms there, okay? So let's start out with the mean. So if we add all these numbers up, right, 10.1 plus 10.2 plus 10.2, so on and so forth, we add all of them up, okay, the sum, for adding all of them up, is 208.4. Number of terms, okay, is 20. I got 20 terms. How do I find the mean again? Okay, I take the sum of the terms divided by the number of terms. The mean equals 208.4 divided by 20, and I get 10.42. So again, you're probably going to be asked to round to the nearest tenth on your assignment. So again, just like yesterday's assignment, your assignment for this will also be on Schoology in the e-learning folder. So just round however they tell you to round. So it's 10.42. So if we round to the nearest tenth, then it would round to 10.4. Okay, so if you're going to, I didn't say specifically how to round here, so just be aware of how you're asked to round. Median. So if we look at the data set, what we're going to see is that these two guys right here, 10.4 and 10.4, those are the middle two terms. Because on either side, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's actually these two here. So again, since I have an equal number of terms on both sides, okay, since I have an equal number of terms on both sides, right, because I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, and then I got 2, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and oh, I forgot 10.2. That's what I forgot. See, I forgot one number there. Okay, so, but you guys are probably like, hey, you forgot one. But at any rate, so at any rate, we're going to see that the median is 10.4, but specifically, it's going to be these two here, okay? Because then I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, okay? And then 9 terms on this side. So, find the median. If we really want to get technical, yeah, we take the middle two terms, and I say 10.4 plus 10.4, divide by 2, right? So 20.8 divide by 2, I'm at 10.4, okay? So the mode, so what number occurs the most times? All we have to do is look at the dot plot. So 10.4 clearly occurs 5 times, that's more than any other. And the range, remember the range, all we have to do is take the greatest number minus the least number. So I have to take 11, which is the greatest term, minus 10.1, which is the least. So 11 minus 10.1, I get 0.9 for my range. Alright, so again with the dot plot, my recommendation is actually go ahead and write out all the terms in order. And it's easy because the dot plot goes in order. So you can just write them all out in numerical order. And don't forget one like I did, okay? And then that helps. Okay, that helps you find the median, right? Because you got to have them in numerical order for the median. The sum, remember the sum or the mean. We take the sum divided by the total number of terms, which we did here. Mode, you just check, hey, which one happens the most number of times. Range, we take the greatest value minus the least value. All right. Okay, so again, your assignment is on Schoology in this folder, okay, e-learning 520. And tomorrow we'll have another lesson on something related to statistics. See you then.